Fantastic. We are live, and I want to welcome everybody slowly trickling into today's presentation. So I'll go ahead and get started. That way our future archival listeners don't have to wait too long. But as you guys trickle in, I want to welcome you all to tonight's presentation, which is a sequel to the presentation from 2 weeks ago. And to anyone joining us who did not join us last week, we kicked off 2 weeks ago a presentation, a three-part presentation, introducing you guys to sort of what we do here at the Travis Association for the Blind's TES department, at least here in the technology wing. And we started off by kicking off a webinar entitled An Introduction to Microsoft Word. And 2 weeks ago, we aired part 1, and tonight we will be doing part 2. But before we get started, I do want to say hello to everybody. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday night. My name is Eric Cifuentes, Adaptive Technology Instructor here at TAB, and I'm being joined today by Aaron Hoffman. Hello.
How are you?
Fantastic. He is our Adaptive Technology Supervisor. He'll be screening your questions and hands. And speaking of those, if you wish to participate in the discussion, because we will be covering a lot of information, hopefully very succinctly and non-ambiguous in its understandability. But if you wish to join us, you can enter a question into the chat box by chording Alt+H and entering your question, or on a Mac, Command+H. If you wish to raise your hand and speak to us verbally, Alt+Y will achieve that, and on a Mac, Command+Y will do the same. On telephones, you can do the same by entering *9. That will raise your hand and add you to the queue and be able to communicate with us with your voice box. Please do. Don't be shy. We welcome all questions. So today we're going to continue with where we left off with the last presentation with Microsoft Word. But to those who were not present, I want to quickly recap what we covered. We covered what a word processor was, what exactly you can create and do with Microsoft Word. And we also covered things like the layout of the program, the four components of the window, if you will. The title bar, which is at the top, announces both the program and the name of the document that you're working with, which you can read by chording Insert+T. The document pane, which is the main part of the program, where all text is entered comprising your document. Everything that comprises the composition of your document goes into the document pane. This is the only part of the window that changes across all Office applications. In Excel, the document pane is a spreadsheet pane. In an Outlook, document pane is either the email pane or the calendar pane. We'll talk about those when we get to those presentations. And then you have at the very bottom of the screen a line called the status bar. That contains a summary of your document. Things like page count, word count, zoom level, spell check, and accessibility check are all stored here. Finally, you have the ribbon, the sprawling metropolis of different commands and options that affect the document pane of your document. These all influence the document. And will be the center point of tonight's presentation. Now, before we proceed, I want to go over what we're going to cover today. Like I just stated, we will be covering the ribbon today, and we briefly touched on it last presentation. And we talked a lot about the upper ribbon, how it's comprised of different tabs. For example, we have the Home tab, where you can copy, where you can adjust the font, where you can adjust the line spacing, add bulleted lists, etc., etc. You have the Insert tab, which is self-explanatory. You can insert objects, pictures, tables, charts into your document. You have the layout tab, which has to do with the layout of the page, margins, sections, page breaks. And all of that is more advanced concepts that we won't really talk too much about, but we're just trying to explore and understand how the ribbon is laid out and how different parts of the ribbon affect the document. Finally, the fourth tab that I wanted to address is the review tab. And that's where you can run a word count, view the thesaurus, a dictionary, cite sources, build bibliographies, and other sorts of commands that affect the document in the sense of it provides you review summaries or allows you to create things that review text. For example, the bibliography references text. Then there are smaller, lesser used tabs. For example, the draw tab, which is a paintbrush. It allows you to draw pictures directly onto the canvas of Word, or it allows you to paste a canvas and draw on it. Obviously not very accessible. Then we have the design tab. Again, it's just another form of designing how the document looks. Finally, we have the view tab, which changes how the document appears on the screen. You can change things like the zoom level, or you can change it into a print view or make the document resemble more a web page. These are the main tabs of the upper ribbon. Now today we're going to be exploring the lower ribbon. And like we discussed last presentation, the lower ribbon changes based on which tab you move from. Back to the street analogy, if you turn left onto Grand Avenue off of Main Street, the businesses will differ to those on 2nd Street that bridges off of that Main Street. Just like that Main Street, the ribbon's icons or commands change based on which tab that you tab from, which tab you move away from on the upper ribbon. And I'll show you tonight. Finally, today we're gonna touch on dialog boxes and how they differ from the ribbon, but how they're tied to the ribbon. And a dialog box is just another place where you can affect the document using controls and options. But we're going to explore how the ribbon is a little bit different to dialog boxes, but how the ribbon can also lead you down streets that lead to dialog boxes that affect the document. So today we're going to mess with a document. I'm going to go ahead and open Word.
Search box edit.
So hit Windows.
W-O-R-D.
Now,
Tab.
Word.
Opening dash. List box Word. New list box.
And of course, when we open Word, we're in the Backstage View of Word. All right. And by the way, Aaron, you can hear my screen, correct? Just making sure.
That's correct, 5x9.
Fantastic. Now, we're going to hit Escape to leave the Backstage View because the template that I want to use is a standard blank template that comes with Microsoft Word.
Escape. Print view, edit.
Print view, edit. So my view is a print view. If I had it set to web, it would say web view. And it said edit, which tells me I'm on the edit pane or the document pane. I could start typing right here. Eric.
Space S-I-U-E-S, enter. Eric Cifuentes.
Down arrow.
Blank. Blank.
Down arrow again. Makes a sound and blank because my document is comprised of 2 lines. The top line, my name. The bottom line, blank. If I try to go down again,
blank.
It'll make that noise.
Eric.
Similarly, if I go up to my name and hit up arrow,
Eric Cifuentes.
You've encountered the boundary of the topmost boundary. Okay, so we've entered my name. Now let's go into the ribbon by pressing Alt.
Upper ribbon, home tab, Alt followed by H.
All right, again, we are having focus placed on the home tab. That's the default tab, that's the tab to the furthest left on the ribbon. If I were to press the left arrow from here,
leaving menus, file tab button, Alt file.
I would be back in the Backstage View where we started off when I launched Word. We are back there again because the Backstage View is behind the ribbon. And if you were to fall off the ribbon, if you were to go too far left or too far right, you would end up in the Backstage View. Nothing wrong with that, but that's just how it works. So we're going to press right again to go back to the Home tab.
Upper ribbon, Home tab, Alt followed by H.
And we're gonna quickly just cycle through the different options here from left to right, going right, home tab,
Insert tab.
insert.
Draw tab. Alt follow. Design tab. Alt follow. Layout tab. Alt. References tab. Alt. Mailings tab. Alt. Review tab. Alt. View tab. Alt follow. Help tab. Alt follow. Leaving menus. Share button. Not checked.
And we're back on the other side. When we fall off after the help tab to the right, we're on the far left of the backstage view. When we fall off the left side of the ribbon, we're on the right end of the backstage view. And the backstage view just contains more options that are not present on the ribbon. For example, the file tab, which is the backstage view, contains things like save as or export, print, and the options menu that control all the different options of the program. We won't play too much in here, or not at all really, but it's here.
Escape.
You can also get there. I hit escape twice to go back to the document pane. And you can get to the backstage view by chording Alt F.
Alt F. Menu. Home. Alt followed by FH. Leaving menus.
There we go.
Home. New. Hide or show region button check. New list box. Blank document. 1 of 7.
Now it's just pressing down arrow to move through the different parts of the file tab or of the backstage view. The backstage view is not known for being too terribly accessible or too accessible, but it's not too terribly difficult to navigate. It just takes a little bit of familiarization,
Escape. Edit.
which is why we won't dabble too much in here. So let's open up the ribbon by hitting Alt.
Upper ribbon. Ribbon. Help tab. Alt followed by Y.
And again, the ribbon remembers which tab you last escaped from. So if I last escaped from the Help tab, or I fell off from the far right of the ribbon, which was the Help tab, into the backstage view, I hit Escape, which put me back into the ribbon. I hit Escape again, which left the ribbon. So I'm on the far right on the Help tab. Now let's move to the left, to the far left of the ribbon, or to the beginning of the ribbon, and to the Home tab.
Review tab. Mailings tab. References tab. Layout tab. Design tab. Draw tab. Insert tab. Home tab. Alt followed by H.
Okay, and this brings me to my next little demonstration or observation. Notice how every time I press left and right arrow, it tells me the name of the tab, and then it gives me a command called Alt plus H, Alt plus V, etc., etc. These are what are called shortcuts or tooltips. I believe they're referred to as tooltips in Word. But what these are quick action commands that allow you to reach parts of the massive sprawling metropolis that is known as the Office ribbon to quickly carry out options or tasks without having to navigate, again, the streets. Think of GPS, but with a teleportation feature. What the future looks like. Open up Google Maps, enter an address, and watch yourself be warped there. This is exactly how these little tooltips work. Let me hit escape.
Escape. Leaving menus. Leaving ribbons. Edit.
All right, now if I do Alt plus H,
Alt H. Upper ribbon. Ribbon. Home tab. Alt followed by H.
I'm on the Home tab.
Escape.
I'll escape.
Escape. Leaving menus. Leaving ribbons. Edit.
If I do Alt plus V, I should be on the View tab. Let's see.
Alt V. Upper ribbon. Ribbon. Home tab. Alt followed by H.
Oh wait, no, Alt V is it's no longer the View tab. But if you move through, it will tell you how to get to the different tabs. For example, let me escape, Alt,
ribbon.
go to the right.
Insert tab. Alt followed by N.
All right, Alt N.
Escape.
Let me do that. Escape and chord Alt plus N.
Alt N. Upper ribbon. Ribbon. Insert tab. Alt followed by N.
One more demonstration. I know the layout tab is Alt plus P. So let's do Alt plus P.
Alt P. Upper ribbon. Ribbon. Layout tab. Alt.
Hooray. Layout tab. And when I say plus, I don't mean actually that you need to hold down the plus button. Plus is being used as a way to chord in its literal sense. We're using Alt plus the letter P, not plus sign. I've had students in the past ask me if they should use the Alt plus and the P. That is not correct. In this case, we're saying Alt in addition to P.
Escape.
Okay. So let's do Alt H to move to the Home tab.
Alt H, upper ribbon, ribbon.
And finally, I've been talking a lot about the lower ribbon, so let's explore the lower ribbon by tabbing away from the Home tab.
Home, clipboard, paste split button, Alt followed by H, V.
So there we heard a few things. Home, clipboard, paste split button. Okay, Home, that's the Home tab. We have tabbed into the bowels of the Home tab. Okay, we are here. And then we heard clipboard. this is the first group box in the Home tab. The tabs in the ribbon are so big that they require further breakdowns. Think of when you're traveling down the street, you have shopping plazas. Not everything on a street is on the same block. Sometimes you have, the first block down a major thoroughfare, and then you have the second block comprising different businesses. That's because if you had it all in one place, or if you had all of the ribbon's contents, all of singular tabs contents grouped together in one location, then it would be a hassle to tab through everything. So before I show you how to move through group boxes, let's just see what comprises the makeup of the Home tab's clipboard group box. The first item you see in the clipboard group box, which is also the first item of the Home tab, is something called a paste split button. And as you can discern, paste is to take something you've copied and drop it somewhere else. Split button is our first encountered control type. And what a control type is a simple way of interacting with a program to carry out an action or to set an action. So a split button is just a button. A button, when you press enter on it, carries out one action. A split button can do one of two things. If you hit enter on it, it'll carry out paste, just as if this was a normal button. But if you hit Alt down arrow on a split button, which we'll do right now, so Alt down arrow.
Alt down arrow, menu, paste special, Control plus V unavailable, Control plus V. Set default paste.
I've opened up a mini little menu. So we have paste special.
Set default paste, Alt
Set default paste.
Paste special,
So we have two more options here. We have two more options in addition.
Escape, upper ribbon, home, clipboard, paste split button, Alt file.
Paste. So technically this button can carry out three options. Enter here.
Leaving menus, leaving ribbons, edit.
We'll close the ribbon and carry out a paste. Now there was nothing on my clipboard, so nothing pasted, right? So let's copy my name now.
Home, selected, Eric Cifuentes.
I did shift down arrow to copy my name. And if you guys want me to do a presentation on selecting, copying, and just moving text around, I am more than happy to do so. So I selected my name, and now I'm going to Control plus C to copy it to my clipboard.
Copied selection to clipboard.
Now I'm going to down arrow to the blank line underneath the top line.
Land.
I'm going to hit enter one more time.
Enter.
Now we have a third line that we're on. I'm going to Alt H.
Alt H, upper ribbon, home tab, Alt.
Tab once.
Home, clipboard, paste split button, Alt followed by H, V.
And hit enter.
Leaving menus, leaving ribbons, edit.
Now I'm going to do insert tab to read the current line that I'm on.
Land.
Oh, I'm sorry. Insert up arrow to read the current line I'm on.
Land. Eric Cifuentes. Land. Eric Cifuentes.
Oh, okay.
Escape.
Okay, so when I pasted it, it actually created a new line underneath the line I was on. So Word said, okay, I'm going to paste this and make a new line and put you on that new line. So go into the top of the document with Control Home.
Top of file, Eric Cifuentes.
All right, if I hit up arrow,
Eric Cifuentes.
we're at the top. Down arrow once.
Land.
Down arrow one more time.
Eric Cifuentes.
Down arrow one more time.
Land.
And one more down arrow.
Land.
So you see how I copied and pasted Eric Cifuentes from line 1 to line 3. I used a ribbon. Naturally, we could use Control V to paste. That would work, but I just wanted to demonstrate how the ribbon works. And if you wanted to do something like a copy Eric Cifuentes, but not copy the format it was copied in. For example, let's say Eric Cifuentes on line 1 was set to 12 point insert fancy font name here, 12 point Mayan script, I don't know, a very fancy font. But I wanted to take that name and just paste it into the default Times New Roman font, which is a very standard, non-evasive font. I could go into that
Alt H, upper
Alt H,
home, clipboard, paste split
paste
button, Alt,
split button, Alt down arrow here.
Alt down arrow, leaving menus, paste table, paste options, keep source formatting button, Alt menu, paste special.
Now I have new
Leaving
options.
menus, paste table, paste options, keep text only button, Alt
Keep text only.
menu, set default paste dot dot. Leaving menus,
Let's see.
paste table, paste options, keep source formatting button, Alt plus
Or
K.
do I keep the source formatting? So I don't want to keep the source formatting. I would just want to keep the text. And by keeping
Merge formatting, keep text only button.
And by keeping only the text, I'm going to take Eric Cifuentes in that fancy font, and I'm going to paste it into the next line with a non-fancy font.
Keep source formatting.
Keep source formatting would keep the source formatting.
Merge formatting button.
And here you can do some more fancy stuff. This is called merge formatting, which incorporates 2 or more formattings. Again, we won't talk about that, but so the paste split button is more than just a button, right? It does more than that. I won't go over too much about pasting because that's not the point of tonight's presentation. What I want to get you guys familiar with is the different control types that comprise a ribbon in a dialog box. A split button is typically only found in the ribbon because a split button activates a submenu or a little mini menu. But a lot of the controls that exist in the ribbon also exist in a dialog box. And one more thing I want to showcase with the paste is the tooltip for paste. So let's do Alt H.
Alt H, upper ribbon, home,
Tab.
home, clipboard, paste split button, Alt followed by H, V.
Now notice we have one more thing that follows Alt followed by H, and that would be V. So Alt followed by H, V, activates the paste split button.
Escape,
all right, so let me show you.
Eric, Lang,
I'm going to copy my name again.
Home, selected,
Copy.
Lang.
Down here, hit enter. Now I'm going to do Alt H.
Alt H, upper ribbon, home tab.
Now I'm going to press V. I've let go of Alt H. Now I'm going to press V.
V, leaving menus, paste table, paste options, keep source form.
And now we've activated the paste split button. And now we have these different options here from paste, right? We can keep the source formatting or merge and do different things. All right, now I'm going to hit escape to leave the split button menu.
Escape, upper ribbon, home, clipboard, paste split button.
I'm in the clipboard at the paste split button. If I hit escape again,
escape, home tab, Alt
I'm at the home tab, and if I hit escape again,
escape, leaving menus, leaving ribbons,
I left the ribbon. So the ribbon is real cool because if you hit escape, you'll only go back 1 level. So I was 3 levels deep into the ribbon. So I had to hit escape 3 times. But Alt H and V activated the paste button, the paste split button, which is a lot faster than Alt H, Tab, Alt down arrow, right? And it gets even quicker when you're finding something that's maybe 20 deep in a tab, right? If you have to press Tab 20 times, that's not very efficient. So let's give you one more example. I'm going to press Alt H. I'm going to tab through the different parts of the clipboard.
Home, clipboard, paste split button.
Of the clipboard group on the home tab, paste button.
Cut button unavailable, Alt follow, copy button unavailable, Alt follow.
And notice how,
cut button unavailable.
And I don't want to diverge too far, but
paste split button.
Notice how the paste is a split button.
Cut button unavailable, Alt follow.
And the cut is a button.
Copy button unavailable.
Same with copy. That's because cut and copy don't have more alternative forms of cutting and copying. There's nothing else. You can do cut carries out one and only one action, and so does copy. Paste can be interpreted as different forms of pasting. You can paste just the text, or you can paste the text accompanied with the format that it originally came from. So a split button would be more appropriate there because there's more than one way of pasting text, as where there's only one way of copying or cutting text. So let's keep tabbing.
Format painter button not checked. Control office clipboard ... button Alt follow font edit combo collapse.
All right, and now we are at the clip. I'm going to shift tab, and we're going to tab.
Font edit combo collapsed. Delivery left parent.
Now here, font edit combo collapsed. So we heard office clipboard, and then we heard font edit combo. Now we've entered the font group box, which is a different block of the home tab. It's a different group box. So if I were to do Control left arrow, I would go to the beginning of the last group box, which would be the clipboard group box. So let's explain group box navigation real quick. When you open the Home tab.
Stage, upper ribbon, ribbon,
If I were to tab once,
home, clipboard, paste split button,
I'm at the paste split button. Tabbing would take me to the cut button, and tabbing again would take me to copy. But if I do Control right arrow,
font edit combo collapsed, Calibri left parent,
I've just skipped everything else in that clipboard group box and found myself in the first item of the font group box, which is the font type, or the different fonts formats, the different fonts that are available, and there's thousands available. So if I were to hit Shift Tab,
clipboard, office clipboard, button,
notice how I'm on the last item of the first group box or of the previous group box. Tab and Shift Tab move you through the ribbon linearly, item by
escape, leaving
item,
menu,
as we're Alt H,
Alt H, upper
or going to the beginning of the tab and then pressing Control right arrow,
home, clipboard, paste split button, alt, font edit combo collapsed, Calibri,
moves you by the first item of each group box. If I were to hit Control right arrow from font,
paragraph, bullet split button, alt followed by
paragraph,
submenu, styles button collapsed, alt followed by H, L,
styles,
editing, find split button, alt followed,
editing,
voice, dictate split button, alt
voice,
menu, sensitivity unavailable, submenu,
sensitivity,
editor button, alt followed by H, C2,
editor.
leaving menus, file tab button, alt
See? And I just fell off because I got to the end of the Home tab. But that's a lot of different things, or that's a lot of different controls in just the Home tab. And there are just as many controls in all of the other 7 or 8 tabs.
alert from training and employment,
And that's a lot to go. That's a lot to look at, and that's a lot to memorize. So to quickly recap, tooltips are quick commands that are offered by the Office environment to quickly move and carry out actions from within the menu, within the ribbon. Alt plus H is a tooltip to get to the Home tab. Alt plus H, then V, is a tooltip to get to the paste split button in the Home tab. And they can get very layered. For example, Alt plus H plus F, or would get you to a different place. So some require more keys than others. And I'm not going to make anyone, if someone comes in, I would never make someone memorize all of the different tooltips in the ribbon. There's hundreds, but there are certain ones that are just very important. For example, if I wanted to adjust this document's margins, I would want to go to the margins submenu, or the adjust margins dialog box. And I know how to get there because I use it so much. Alt P,
upper ribbon, layout
M,
tab, alt M, list box, margins, list box, last
A.
plus A. Leaving menus, leaving ribbons, page setup, top colon, edit com.
Now I'm in the margins setup menu, dialog box, the margin setup dialog box.
Escape.
And that was just with a few keystrokes, Alt P, and M, and then A. Instead of having to go to the layout tab to the margin submenu, hit enter on the margin submenu, and then down arrow to the adjust margins dialog box.
Alert from training.
So that's pretty cool right there. Now, we've talked about the ribbon, we've talked about tooltips, and we've talked about the different things, the group boxes in a tab. We've talked about how to navigate by group boxes. Now let's talk about actually carry out actions in the ribbon. So I'm going to look at my name here at the top of the document, and I want to know what font it's in.
Top of Eric Fuentes.
So I'm going to do,
R-E.
I'm going to put my cursor on the E, which is the first letter. Now I'm going to insert F to view different attributes about my format.
11 point, black on white, Calibri, normal style, line spacing, (1 lines, paragraph formatting, aligned left, outline level, body text.
That was a lot of information to digest, so I don't expect anyone to memorize that. I didn't, but one of the most important things I heard was 11 point Calibri. So by default, I know that Word, a blank template on Word, sets the font to Calibri and the size to 11 point. So let's change both the size and let's change the font itself. I want this to be 12 and Times New Roman. So let's select this line containing my name. And this webinar will not focus on changing attributes too much. This is a demonstration of how to carry out actions using the ribbon. The next webinar will be about changing font attributes, about double spacing, and just basic format editing for your office needs. So stay tuned for that one in 2 weeks. But today I just want to show you how to navigate the ribbon to carry out those basic functions. So let's select this line by shift down arrowing.
Selected Eric Cifuentes.
All right, selected Eric Cifuentes. Now let's go to the Home tab.
Alt H, upper ribbon, Home tab, Alt.
Control right arrow twice to get to the font group box.
Home, clipboard, font edit combo collapsed, delivery left parent.
All right, now we have another control type called an edit combo. An edit combo is used when a combo box has not enough flexibility in it to find something quickly. A combo box allows you to up and down arrow and to move by first letter navigation. So if I was in a combo box of fonts, I could up and down arrow through these or press the first letter of T. But an edit combo actually allows you to type in full words like time for Times New Roman. And the reason this might be needed over a regular combo box is that there are thousands of fonts. So if I were to down arrow to find Times New Roman, that would take 1,000 key presses. If I were to press T to find Times New Roman, that would take 50 key presses. So a combo box is fine when you have maybe 10 things to pick from. But when you have 100 or 1,000 different things, T doesn't suffice. So I'm gonna do T-I-N-E.
Times New Roman.
Ah, found it. See, we found it. And if I wanted to change the font, simply hit enter here on Times New Roman.
Leaving menus, leaving ribbons, edit.
Now I'm gonna do insert F.
11 point, black on white, Times New Roman, highlighted, normal style, line spacing.
There you go. Now, I changed one thing. I changed the font to Times New Roman, but I've yet to change it to 12 point. So let's go back into the ribbon.
Alt H, upper ribbon, home tab.
Now let's move twice to the right with the control right keystroke.
Home, clipboard, font edit combo collect.
And now let's find the font size control. By default, our first control in the font group box is the font edit combo. And the font edit combo, like we just saw, has thousands of different fonts that you can apply to your document. Let's tab.
Font size edit combo collapsed, 11.
Oh, there's font size. Again, it's an edit combo. But let me show you. You can also down arrow in an edit combo.
12.
See, you're not constrained by just typing. And in this case, down arrowing would be faster than pressing 1, 2, because I know 12 follows 11. So I hit down arrow and press enter.
Leaving menus, leaving ribbons, edit. 12 point, black on white, Times New Roman, highlighted.
Now you've changed my name to 12 point in Times New Roman. Now that was much more efficient than tabbing around and finding everything, but it still wasn't as efficient as a dialog box. So there's something that I want to show you guys real quick. When you navigate through the ribbon and you make a selection and you change an aspect of the document, it worked. But you only changed the one aspect. You didn't change anything else. Because when you change something, you hit enter. And yes, it applies that change that you selected, but it also closes the ribbon. So if I wanted to change the font and font size, I would have to make 2 journeys down the ribbon, wouldn't I? One to change the font, enter, close the ribbon, and then a second trip into the ribbon to change the font size. I mean, I have the necessary tools to move quickly through the ribbon, but I also shouldn't have to do that. And that's where dialog boxes come into play. A lot of group boxes at the very end have what's called a ... button. And when you see a button preceded by an ellipsis or ... that is our entry to a dialog box. And a ribbons dialog box takes all of those controls found in a group box and it puts them into one place. Now you can change multiple things in one place at one time in one journey. So let's get to the font ... button. These, again, just like the Office clipboard ... button, are found at the very end of a group box. So let's get to the Home tab.
Alt-H, upper
Now let's do Control right arrow 3 times.
Home, clipboard,
Clipboard,
font edit combo,
font,
paragraph, bullet split button,
paragraph. Now Shift tab should take me to the last item of the previous group box. Previous group box was the font. So let's do Shift tab.
font, button, Alt followed by HFN.
Font, Alt followed by HFN. So I could hit enter here.
Leaving menus, leaving ribbons, font, colon, edit combo, time.
All right, I'm in the font dialog box. But let's do that real quick. Let's do Alt H. Actually, let me hit undo real quick. Okay, undo, because I accidentally deleted my name. So we're gonna reselect it. Now let's do what it said to me. Let's apply the tooltip to get to the font dialog box. Alt followed by H, F, N.
Leaving menus, leaving ribbons, font, colon, edit combo.
There you go. We've just activated the font ... button, not by doing Alt H, then Control right arrow 3 times, then Shift tab. I did it quickly and efficiently by doing Alt H, F, and then N. That's all. Nothing else. That's pretty cool, I would say, because it allowed you to move through all these different parts of the ribbon really, really quickly to get to this dialog box. So let's change a lot of these attributes. Let's change the font. Let's give this some bold. Let's give this some underline. Let's give this some strike through, just to show you how to interact with the different control types in a dialog box. So we've already seen the edit combo. So let's change this back to Calibri. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit Insert Tab to repeat the control. Insert Tab will repeat the control that you're on. Instead of having to do Tab and a Shift Tab, you can just do Insert Tab.
Edit combo, Times New Roman to set.
All right. Now let me show you. If I hit up arrow,
the serif and light, the serif and extra black.
There's so many fonts here.
The serif and black, the serif and, the and light, the and extra black.
Or I could just type CAL and then hit down arrow.
Calibri.
There it is, Calibri. Now if I hit tab,
font style colon edit.
I'm at font style. If I hit Shift tab,
font colon edit combo Calibri.
Calibri, it's right there. It's already set. I want to change more than just the font. I'm going to change the style now.
Font style colon edit combo regular.
Regular. So this is another edit combo, but I'm just going to hit down arrow and make this bold.
Italic. Bold.
Bold. There it is. I could italicize it or bold it.
Bold italic.
Or I can bold and italicize it.
Bold.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bold this. Now I'm going to tab.
Size colon edit combo 12.
The size. I want to make this as big as a braille cell. I believe that's 36.
6, 48, 36.
There you go, 36. Okay, now let's tab.
Font color left parent automatic right parent button.
All right, here's a new button, font color button. So sometimes dialog boxes are require even more options to be hidden inside a button. So if I hit enter on this button, let's see.
Font color left parent automatic right parent button.
Enter. Let's hit space on it. So, okay, so interact with a button, you either hit enter or space. Sometimes enter doesn't carry out the option, so let's hit space.
Space, font, color picker.
There we go. Now we're in the color picker, and the picker arranges things like a table. Pickers are more advanced controls, but let's just quickly set the color to something. So I'm going to hit down arrow.
Color picker table, automatic button selected, Alt plus
automatic. I could hit right arrow from automatic.
Theme colors, white, background 1 button.
White. So I move 1 to the right. Let's move 1 down from white.
White, background 1, darker 5%.
Now let's move 1 left from this one.
Theme colors, green, accent 6.
Now let's move 1 up from green.
Standard colors, dark blue button.
Now we're at dark blue.
Blue button.
So
purple button.
There are different, it's just a table of colors. And now I'm back to automatic because it's a table. I moved down from blue and I ended up at automatic. So let's just set this to blue.
Standard colors, purple button, dark blue button. Blue button.
Blue. I like blue. So let's hit enter on blue.
Document 1-word. Font color left parent automatic right parent button.
Well, I set it to blue.
Size. Font color left parent blue right
there
parent
we
button.
go. Okay, so I just had to do a shift tab and tab and it refreshed the text. And sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to shift tab and tab because insert tab won't refresh the text. So we have
font color left parent blue right parent button.
Okay, so we use the picker to change our font color. Now let's tab.
Underline style colon combo box. Left parent none right.
This gives us some underline. And notice how it said combo box. A combo box is the same as an edit combo, except you can't type words in, just first letter. For example, if I try to type underline,
U-N-D.
nothing happens. If I hit U,
Words up, left parent none. Words
Oh.
up, single. Words only.
let's do
2 of 8.
words only. So if I type in
No,
word, nothing happened. But if I hit W,
W. Underline style colon list box left parent none right parent.
Oh.
1 of 8. Words only. Left parent none.
sometimes when you try to demonstrate something and it doesn't work as well. But if I hit Alt down arrow,
Alt down arrow.
it'll expand the combo box. And if I press W,
W. W. Words only. W. Single S. Words only. W.
well, take my word for it, guys. In a combo box, you should be able to move by first letter navigation, but it's got definitely a lot less flexibility than an edit combo, because in an edit combo, you can type in whole words. But look how many different options are in this combo box.
Underline style colon list box words only. 2 of 18. To move.
18 different options. 18 is kind of a lot for a combo box, but it's not so much that it requires you to actually code in an edit combo, which is usually used for things like 50, 100, 500,000 different options. Okay, now let's tab.
Underline color left parent automatic right parent button.
Here we have another button of underline colors. You could change the underline color with the same picker.
Strike through checkbox not checked.
All right, here we have a checkbox. Checkboxes are super simple. You either check them or you don't check them. I'm going to hit space to check this.
Space checked.
All right, now we have strike through. Checkbox checked.
Strike through checkbox checked.
Tab again.
Double strike through checkbox not checked. Alt plus F.
Let's not double strike through.
Superscript checkbox not checked. Alt. Subscript checkbox not checked.
Now I'm just tabbing, and you see all these checkboxes. The checkboxes are either yes or no. They're very binary. You're either yes, you want to do this, or no, you don't want to do this. But you're not constrained by one checkbox. A checkbox allows you to check as many checkboxes as you want to check, right? So you could check double strike through, you
Superscript.
could superscript and subscript. You're not being told you can only choose one. There can only be one. Like a combo box, right? A combo and an edit combo say there can only be one. This allows you to check as many boxes as you want.
Small caps checkbox not. All caps checkbox. Hidden checkbox not. Set as default button. Alt plus.
All right, and now we have set as default, and now we have buttons here. And these, when you hit enter on them, carry out actions. If I go to OK,
Text effects dot 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 button.
here we have, real quick, text effects dot 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 button. Some dialog boxes are so big that they require more dialog boxes inside of them. So the text effects opens its own dialog box. We're not going to touch this. It's more advanced stuff. But just know that you can still, you can go very deep inside dialog boxes. You can have one inside of another one. And this is the text effects dialog box inside of the font dialog box.
OK button.
And here's OK.
Cancel. Font tab.
And here's the last thing I want to show you. Here says
Font tab selected.
font tab selected. So just like the ribbon, font dialog boxes can have multiple tabs. This is what's called a multi-page or multi-tab dialog box, where there's not enough space on one page for everything that you can do inside of this dialog box. So if I do Control Tab,
Advanced tab selected. Alt.
there's an Advanced tab
Font tab selected.
in the Font tab. So this is a two-page or two-tab multi-tab dialog box.
Advanced tab selected.
So from Advanced tab, if I tab once,
Scale colon edit combo 100.
we have something called Scale.
Advanced.
If I do Control Shift Tab or Control Tab,
Calibri. Alt 36. Font tab selected. Alt plus F. Font colon edit combo. Calibri.
I went to the Font tab and then I tabbed once, and I encountered Font Edit Combo as expected. So the two different tabs have different contents that you can tab through, but
Font cancel. OK
if
button.
you tab over here to the OK button, and I just Shift tabbed real quick. One last thing, dialog boxes. Dialog boxes are circuitous, which
Cancel.
means you can just keep tabbing and tabbing and tabbing forever, and you're just gonna go around and round and round and round like a loop surrounding a city. You're just gonna go around and around and around the city forever until you run out of gas, or in this case, you fall asleep. So I'm gonna go to OK.
OK. Text. OK button.
All right, and now OK.
Edit.
Boom. Now you heard me hit enter, and now I said edit. So now let's do insert F to see what we've done to this text.
Bolded. Words only underlined. Strike through 36 point. Black on white. Calibri highlighted.
Bang.
Lines.
Very cool. Very, very cool. We changed a lot. We made it double strike, or we made it strike through. We changed the font size, and it only took the one trip to the ribbon, right? It didn't take 3 or 4 or 5 different trips that it would have taken to drag through, and then to underline, and then to change the font, and then to do something else, right? It took one trip to the font dialog box to change all the different attributes that have to do with font. That quickly allowed me to carry out actions without having to waste time going back and forth through the ribbon. Think of a dialog box as a big box store containing everything you need for one particular thing. In this case, it's font. Now, if I wanted to change things like the line spacing, I would have to go to the paragraph group
Alt-H.
over here,
Home. Font edit. Paragraph. Bullet split.
right? And I wanted to add bullets,
Numbering split.
or I want to number something, or I can just do Control right arrow
Submenu.
and then Shift tab.
Paragraph. Paragraph. Dot dot dot.
And there's the paragraph ... button at the end of this group box. All right. Now, one thing to point out is not all dialog boxes contain everything. So, for example, this dialog box for the paragraph ... button would not allow you to make bullets. You can only make bullets
Bullet split button.
over here at the bullet split button. But that paragraph ... button would allow you to adjust things like spacing, or allow you to make levels in your headings, or it would allow you to do things like change the spacing between lines, or it would allow you to what's the other one? Change the alignment. You could justify or right align, or left center or something. So it does everything that you can do out here in the ribbon,
Menu.
but not everything.
Numbering split button.
Like, it wouldn't have these bullet split button and numbering split button options because these are so specific. So for this, you would have to go into the ribbon. All right, you would have to go into the ribbon and find these split buttons because these split buttons are so specific that they can't all be contained from within one dialog box. But for everything else, dialog boxes are king.
Escape.
They are wonderful. So let's summarize some of the control types that we encountered. We saw edit combos and combo boxes. Edit combos allow you to type inside of a combo box. Combo boxes are straightforward, you up and down. Buttons are controls that carry out an action. Hitting enter on it causes the program to do something like close a dialog box or save your changes. A split button can do one of two things. It can carry out one specific predetermined action, like paste, or it can open a small menu with different options related to the initial option. For example, the paste split button can expand and do paste formatting or paste special. You can do different forms of pasting with the split button. And finally, a checkbox is a yes or no binary control that either says, yes, I'm checking this because I want this attribute to exist, or no, I'm not checking it because I don't want this attribute to exist. But you're not constrained by one checkbox. You can check multiple checkboxes. There was one more control type that I wanted to show you, and that was the radio button. And a radio button is just like a combo box, to be honest with you. Unlike a checkbox, a radio button, well, you can only check one radio button in the list. And I'm trying to recall a good place to show you radio buttons. What's a good place with radio buttons? The JAWS settings actually has radio button. I can't recall one out of Word. So I want to show you using JAWS. So we're going to go to JAWS,
Utility.
Options.
Option submenu. Basics ... Voices. Basics ...
Okay.
Enter. Menu bar. Leaving menu bar. Basic settings dialog. Tutor messages. Announce custom messages only. Radio button checked. 3 of 3.
So here we are in a list of 3 radio buttons. If I up and down arrow here,
Tutor messages. Announce menu and control help radio button checked. 2 of 3. Tutor messages. Turn off menu and control help radio button checked. 1 of 3.
it's just like a combo box. I either check one of the 3 buttons in this list. I can't check them all, like checkboxes. Checkboxes, I could check all 3 of these if I wanted all 3 actions to occur, right? So usually when you interact with a control, you either interact with it with the arrow keys or the space bar. And to move to the next control, you tab.
Access key, speak all radio.
Right? So
Escape,
remember
escape.
this. To navigate the ribbon, you get there with the Alt, or you can use a tooltip like Alt-H or Alt-P. If you want to get to a specific part of the ribbon, like the paste split button, you do a multi-key keystroke, Alt-H followed by V. That activates the paste button without having to move through the ribbon. To activate the font dialog box, you would do Alt H, F, N. These are three different commands, Alt H, then F, and then N, not all three together. And you can also see how to get somewhere just by moving to that particular control. So if you wanted to see how to get to the font dot 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 button, you go to the font dot 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 button manually and you let it say font dot 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 button, and then it'll say Alt followed by H, F, N. The tooltip is always announced after the control, and that's only in the ribbon. That's basically it. That's a really, really brief overview of control types. You also have other control types that you'll encounter. You'll have spin boxes. These are like combo boxes, but you can only enter mathematical values. For example, the font size should technically be a spin box, but the thing with that is you can't have a spin box give a spin box is for precise values. For example, you can't have a font size that's 36.1. You can only have 36. So spin boxes are like for when you're entering dollars and cents, $5.25 or 5.25. So that's a spin box. And it also, just like a combo box, it allows you to type inside of it. You have sliders. These use the left and right and up and down button to adjust a particular value, like volume. A volume slider, left arrow or down arrow would decrease the volume to maybe 50 or 45%, while right arrow increases it. And then, of course, you have what are just called edit boxes. And edit boxes are different to edit combos, that they're not constrained by a particular value, right? An edit combo is still constrained by 1,000 different edit. The edit combo is still constrained by 1,000 fonts. An edit box would not be constrained. It's only constrained by what your imagination can conjure, right? So, like a Google search box is an edit and a Google search box is an edit field. The font edit combo is an edit combo. You can Google search for 1 billion trillion different things, whatever your mind can, spit out. But you can only set the 1,000 or so fonts that Microsoft Word allows you to set. That's it. And dot, dot, dot buttons are your key to a dialog box. And again, the difference between a ribbon and a dialog box is that the ribbon, you can really only carry out one action at a time. As for a dialog box, you can carry out multiple actions at a time without having to return over and over to the dialog box and carry out the same movements to change multiple things. So when you just want to change one thing, you go to the ribbon, you change it. When you want to change two or more things, find that respective group box's dialog box, hit enter on the dot, dot, dot button, like the font dot, dot, dot button or the paragraph dot, dot, dot button, and make the respective changes and then tab to the OK button. Finally, you have, I'm gonna suggest the help feature again. If there's a part of the ribbon you can't remember how to get to, Alt plus Q.
Alt Q.
Oh, let's hit escape. Alt Q.
Alt Q.
What's going on here? Oh, I'm gonna hit Insert T to remember where I am.
Document 1-Word.
Okay.
Document 1-Word. Edit.
There we go. Okay, Alt Q.
Alt Q. Ribbon. Type to search and use the up and down arrows keys to navigate submenu. Microsoft Search. Edit. Alt.
Microsoft Search, and I want to look for margins. All right, now I'm going to hit down arrow.
Lang menu. Adjust margin submenu.
There it is. Adjust margin submenu. It doesn't tell me where it is, but here it is. I can hit enter on it.
Upper ribbon. Adjust margins list box. Last custom margin setting button.
Now I'm in the margin submenu. Oh, and that's another last thing that I want to show you. A submenu. A submenu is just a submenu. Ribbons contain submenus. The dialog box does not contain a submenu, right? Because a dialog box is one dialog box. It doesn't have submenus. It does have sub-dialog boxes, as you saw in the font dot, dot, dot dialog box. So let's go to Layout tab.
Alt-P, upper ribbon.
Let's tab to the margins.
Menu, margin submenu.
And you see how it says margin submenu. So when you hear Word or JAWS announce submenu, you know that if you were to hit enter or space here,
list box, margins list box, last custom margin setting.
You have a different host of options available to you. And you can move through these different options by by up and down arrowing through them.
Normal margins button, narrow margins button, moderate margins button, wide margins button, mirrored margin, office tooth, menu, leaving menus, custom margins, alt, upper ribbon, margins list box, last custom margin setting button.
Okay. So I've just cycled through the sub menus options, and it took me to the beginning by hitting down arrow multiple times. So you can, again, it's circuitous. If you hit down arrow, you'll keep going forever and ever and ever.
Menu, leaving menus, custom margins, alt,
and here's another dialog box, the custom margins, And I opened this earlier with Alt P, M, and then A. So everything in the ribbon has a shortcut, a tooltip, whatever you wish to call it.
Escape, upper, escape.
All right, and that's our presentation today. If you have any questions, please leave them while I give you guys the spiel that I want to give you concerning classes. We do offer classes here at Travis Association for the Blind. If you want to learn more, Word, Excel, Word, Excel, Outlook, keyboarding. If you still find yourself struggling entering keys into a keyboard, we have a program available to help you boost your speed and accuracy. If you want to learn things like setting fonts, we have a beginner Word class. If you want to learn things like creating complex tables of values in Word with images and different layers of complexity, we have an advanced course for Word. If you want to learn Excel, which we'll be doing a webinar on after next presentation. So next presentation, we'll be doing the final Word part. And then after that, we will be kicking off an Excel series. I believe that'll be a two-parter. But we also have you covered on Excel. So we can cover you guys across a wide and diverse range of applications at all levels. If you want to make pivot tables on Excel, come into class. We can teach you that. If you want to learn how to query or create super complex pages of values to show to your manager, we got you covered. I just created an internet syllabus for class. So if you guys want to learn how to browse the internet and how to find information or fill out a web page, we've got you covered on that too. We do iOS and Android. And I'm just trying to let you guys know we're available. We're available remotely. If you have Zoom, you all have Zoom, right? Because you're here. Or you can call us and come in personally and take a class with us. They're twice a week for an hour. Each class is structured where we try to give you as much knowledge as possible in a month, 8 classes. And you can email myself, Eric. Yes?
This is Aaron. Diana has a question for us. She says, I use Fusion 2021. Are the keyboard commands the same as in JAWS?
They're just about the same. So the cool thing about Fusion is that it has zoom text visually, but the JAWS keystrokes remain the same. There are a few variations. For example, if you're on Fusion, if you do caps lock or insert up and I think it's just caps lock actually. If you do caps lock up and down arrow, you'll adjust the zoom of the screen. Like caps lock up will make it larger, while caps lock down arrow will make it smaller. But there really are a few deviations between the two programs. And if you want to find a particular keystroke, do insert space and then J.
Alert from training and employment.
And that.
Eric Fuentes. Blank.
Insert space J.
Search for JAWS command.
There you go.
Dialog.
Here you can search for commands, and the program is going to tell you how to do something. Fusion has this as well. So insert space, let it go, and then hit J, and then you can search for something.
Escape.
Most of the commands, I would say over 90%, are the same in both Fusion and JAWS. Make sure when you're using Fusion that your JAWS is enabled, not just the zoom text reader. Otherwise, you're just using zoom text, not JAWS. But no, thank you for the question, by the way. And if you guys want a webinar comparing Fusion and JAWS, we can do that too. To contact us, email myself at eric.cifuentes@austinlighthouse.org, eric.sifuentes, or at aaron.hoffman@austinlighthouse.org. Or you can call us at 512-647-4625. Again, 512-647-4625. And we'll schedule you for an assessment and evaluate what your needs are, and you'll be in class, and hopefully we'll help you guys grow your skills. But if you don't want to do that, stay tuned for our webinars Next week, 2 weeks from now, I'll be touching more on formatting. So next time we'll be actually looking at a document and changing fonts and changing sizes and giving bold and italicizes and changing the paragraph styles. For example, giving different lines headings or giving certain parts of a document double spaces. So we'll be doing some basic formatting just so you can make documents look pretty for your professors or make them look professional for your managers. Again, I'd like to thank you all for joining us tonight. I'd like to thank Dr. Laura Miller from Northwest Eye Care for sending all of you guys to us, or recommending us to you guys, or recommending us for you guys to us, and to you guys for joining us every 2 weeks for these webinars. So stay tuned in 2 weeks where we wrap up this presentation for Office Word, and in 4 weeks we're going to move on to fun Excel, which I find very fun. But for tonight, for Aaron Hoffman, this is Eric Cifuentes, wishing you guys a wonderful Tuesday night. We'll see you soon. Take care, everybody.
Meeting control.
Have a nice night.